That's not just the sound of that first sip of Morning Joe. It's the sound of someone shopping for a car on Carvana from the comfort of home.
That's a good blend.
It's time to take it easy, like answering some easy questions to get pre-qualified for a car in minutes.
Talk about starting the morning right.
Just like customizing your terms so your car fits your budget. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to experience car shopping the way it should be. Convenient, comfortable. That's not just the sound of that first sip of Morning Joe. It's the sound of someone shopping for a car on Carvana from the comfort of home.
That's a good blend.
It's time to take it easy, like answering some easy questions to get pre-qualified for a car in minutes.
Talk about starting the morning right.
Just like customizing your terms so your car fits your budget. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to experience car shopping the way it should be. Convenient, comfortable.
Welcome to Tunnel Talk, a No Facts, All Feelings wrestling podcast on the Social Suplex Network. I'm Allie.
I'm Ann.
And I'm Leah.
And we've just been chitter-chattering, but now we're recording our podcast.
We genuinely almost forgot.
I know.
We'll just sign off in 2 hours like, well, that was a great time.
Sometimes we do get on the Zoom and we are just having so much fun that suddenly you're like, oh my God, I call it doing our chores. And that means starting the podcast so you can listen to it. So you've already missed out on quite a bit of rich discussion tonight.
Interview with a vampire.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm like, you probably wanted some of it. You probably wanted to hear some of our thoughts on the amazing face acting going on that AMC show that was just renewed for season 3. But
their face acting is incredible. I mean, when you compare it to the face acting we normally watch.
You think it's a little better than what we usually get on wrestling?
Little.
I think I'd agree. I think I would agree that the standard is a little higher on AMC's Interview with the Vampire. My favorite show of all time.
And these are the bold takes you're not going to get anywhere else.
Yeah. Dave has never once brought the show up.
Dave doesn't watch non-wrestling shows.
Dave doesn't even know what AMC is.
Guys,
to be honest, I barely do either.
The way I was shocked to my core this week when I found out that Brian Alvarez fast forwards through every single entrance. He only watches the matches, and then he complains that he doesn't know what's happening on the show.
Yep.
I really don't.
And that's
like
his whole
that.
job. It's his whole job to watch the show and retain it.
If I did my job that way, I would be fired. I think. Unless I was really good at faking it.
You might say, girls, you retain so little. Yes, but this is not our whole job. We don't get paid for this.
We're not charging you. What's the new price? $14.99?
I think it's like $20
$40.
a month. I think it's $20 a month.
Three
now.
vastly different prices that we've internalized.
It's between $14 and $40 a month, and it just went up.
Just went up. We know that. An unprecedented amount. And you came here to hear about this, right? That's why you guys are listening to Tunnel Talk. You want to know how much they're charging for the Observer.
I think of us as a real Wrestling Observer alternative. I think they're like, those are my top 2 that kind of deliver similar experiences.
I like when we occupy the same niche.
Yeah.
But we're free. And that's really what sets us apart. Pretty much is that you are not paying to listen to this.
No.
So thank you for being here. A little bit of podcast business before. Leah, are you prepared? I didn't even ask if you're prepared to do what's making me happy.
Ready to get happy?
I believe earlier in the week I told you it was going to be Interview with the Vampire again. So what if I was just like, that was my segment, the intro?
The intro that we didn't record. And I think I kind of signed off on it at the time because I had been thinking like, wow, what's making me happy this week? I wonder what Leah's thing will be. Probably Interview with the Vampire. Because we're group watching it, to be clear. Although Anne is just catching up to us for one final group watch.
I just started like a week ago, maybe, but I'm blasting through. I only got 2 episodes left before I'm caught up for the finale.
And they are dynamic episodes. You have a lot coming down the pike.
Pretty excited. seems from just observing your live watches that it's like they get hornier every week, it seems like. So I'm pretty stoked for that.
Yeah. I mean, it was an intense one this past week, and I think next week it'll be intense again. Anyway, I said I was going to do our podcast business, so I guess I will do that. We just wanted to let you know that every week you turn in, you hear our beautiful theme song that we're obsessed with. It was written by friend of the pod, Chris Corkin. He is also a musician beyond just composing podcast theme songs for us. He's in a band called Diary, and they do have a new single out, which is called Sunday's Shadow. And we urge you to go check it out on Spotify or wherever you listen to music.
Yeah,
please. They're so good.
Please do. Please do.
We love to listen to Diary.
Yeah, yeah. Their last album, was one of my most played for that summer. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. I was so into their last single. It was crazy. Yeah.
So please go check it out. Again, the band is Diary. The single is Sunday's Shadow. And thank you, Chris, for our beautiful theme song.
We love you,
for being you. We love you, Chris. Okay, Leah, do you have something that you're going to share with us?
I do have something I'm going to share, and it's not Interview with the Vampire.
Wow.
Well, we could talk about that for another 10 to 20 minutes if we wanted to. We've got plenty of stuff to say.
I have been made very happy by the discovery of these ice cream bars that are called Loaded. The company is Blue Bunny, and they are one of the best things that have ever happened to me. It's like vanilla ice cream with like little bits inside of it, and then it's like got a salted caramel covering, and then chocolate on top of that, like hard chocolate. So then like you crack the chocolate to get at the ice cream, and it is an experience and a half. I am now rationing every one because I'm like, you can't have multiple in like one day. Like it's too much ice cream. So then I'll be like, is it time for my daily little ice cream? Is it time?
Does the chocolate all like fracture off the bar when you bite into it, like a old school?
Nice and thick.
If you're not experienced, it can fracture quite quickly. But once you really become once you really become an expert,
once you're a professional,
right? You can like nibble at it to get it to fracture in like helpful
get a little
ways.
bit at a time. Yeah.
Thank you for asking. And a noob like you might find it challenging. Yes.
I mean, honestly, yes, because I remember as a child like trying to eat like a dilly bar or something from Dairy Queen. It was like it's all the chocolate's gone now. It all fell off, so it's a little stressful.
Yeah, you've got to really plan your strategy around it, but that's part of the fun, I'd say.
I love the sound of it. It's reminding me of like when I was growing up and we visited my grandparents. We used to get Magnum ice cream bars, which also had that like caramel layer with the chocolate over. And I have some really fond memories of those. So now I'm like, oh, I wish our podcast wasn't recording so late, so I can't go to the grocery store after this. Unless we just rush right through.
I think we have our first ever 40-minute podcast.
It's just like, okay, girls, I gotta get out of here. Well, thank you very much, Leah. Thank you for two happinesses.
Yeah. Did you look up the giver phrase, Allie? Thank you for your sharing.
Oh my God, no.
Thank
okay, I have to look it up right now. The giver, thank you for... Oh my God. Thank you for your childhood is one of them. Thank you for your sharing. Let's see if we can find it. In the book, the phrase, quote, thank you for your ex is used by the character. Well, not ex, but like, I need an example here.
Yeah.
Oh,
I do remember.
Oh, I see. It's stuff like someone shares their dream and you say, thank you for your dream.
Oh my God, Alex. So can you just start being like, thank you for your happiness?
Yeah, I think I have to.
Now we've taken that happiness from you.
That's so
thank you for your happiness.
Oh my God. Okay, let me try it. Thank you for your happiness, Leah.
You're
I got
welcome,
a little
Allie.
shiver. Scary. Whoa. Okay. Well, on that note, no one told me to move these topics around. Was the order okay?
Yeah. It was good.
No notes.
I didn't get that much sleep last night. I was up until 2:30 a.m., which I kind of knew would happen at a certain point in the night called 12:15 when I thought, should I make a little spaghetti? And
you made spaghetti at 12:15.
Yeah, it was
you
totally,
left that out of the story.
It was so deranged, but I think that it's because, I don't want to get too into the details on our podcast, but I think it's because I was doing some research into the correlation between your ADHD symptoms and like the effectiveness of your medication and your phase in your menstrual cycle. And I looked at the calendar and I said, wow, I know I am wide awake at 12:30. It's because after weeks of my meds not working, they did work. And I love being awake now. So I made a little pasta. 12:30 a.m.
Honestly, nothing tastes as good as midnight pasta tastes. Like, I'm sorry, it tastes better.
It was really good. It was really, really good. And then I couldn't go to sleep for a while because I had to do a couple of crossword puzzles.
I mean, you can't like go right from eating spaghetti to sleeping. No. That's crazy.
No. And in fact, immediately after eating the spaghetti, I did think like, wow, I don't love how I feel right now. Like there's like a little bowling ball in my stomach when I'm trying to go to bed. The only reason I've said any of this is because I really complained a lot about doing this schedule, and I don't hold me accountable for like the order that anything's in. Like, I don't really know why anything is where it is, to be honest with you. So let's begin at what I've called the very beginning, which is a very good place to start, with Christopher Big J Jericho and Big Bill fighting Private Party on Collision this week and winning handily. Afterwards, Samoa Joe challenged the stable to a trios match, but Shibata broke Brian Keith's arm, leaving Jericho down a man. What's he going to do? So he and Big Bill and Brian Keith with his sling take to the ring on Dynamite. Do you like when I use the present tense? Is that kind of fun? Like, it brings a little active energy.
Yeah.
They take to the ring on Dynamite, and Jericho announces that Minoru Suzuki is going to partner with him and Big Bill for the match. But instead, Suzuki shows up on the video on the big screen and says, actually, I have no interest in fighting with you. I only want to fight against you. I want to fight you for your FTW belt. And Jericho looked so stressed out about this. I thought I think maybe would have checked in first.
You described him as looking like a lost little boy, which was right. He just kind of stood in the ring and just looked really sad. He was like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting this, and I don't know what to do about it now."
It is kind of that to me. Kind of the thing. Like, if you're going to propose to somebody like in a really public way, you should make sure you know that they're going to say yes before you like get out the ring at a hockey game.
Yeah.
And I think that's the situation Jericho was in.
Yeah.
Mortifying.
That's exactly right. He got turned down at the hockey game. Anyway, then Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata came out. They had a little in-ring, back and forth. And you pulled a quote here that I did not pick up in the moment.
Yeah, Samoa Joe said the learning tree is like the Jericho family tree. There just aren't enough branches.
Okay, I also did hear that, and I was like, he has kids, though. Like, is Samoa Joe like a quiverful, and he's just like, not enough?
Or is he like trying to say that?
I thought the branches were the wrestlers, I guess. Well, I think he was saying they didn't have a third man.
Well, I thought usually when you say your family tree doesn't have enough branches, because I'm from Kentucky, it's like a joke about incest. Like your family does incest. You are the product of incest. But I was like, why is that a Jericho burn?
No, in this case, it must be. I've only just now thought the wrestlers are the branches.
Well, they're the branches on the learning tree, but not on the Jericho family tree.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe he just got confused about the trees. There's too many trees in the forest, and who knows which ones have branches and which ones don't.
I got a great tree burn. It doesn't matter who.
Well, honestly, we're talking about it, so it's a win.
I mean,
all publicity is good publicity. We've always said that. We always will.
When's the last time we talked about a Samoa Joe promo?
That's true, but it's like, that's another topic we're going to transition into here, right? Which is that Samoa Joe has a new thing that he's doing on AEW TV called being fun and having a fun personality.
Yeah.
And Thank you so much, Zoom. Zoom sent up some balloons to celebrate Samoa Joe's fun personality. Many of our friends in the community have been telling us for years now, Samoa Joe is so cool, Samoa Joe is so good, Samoa Joe is the best. We've only rarely had moments where we're like, yeah, Samoa Joe did a really nice, he's so serviceable, usually, but kind of like in a, like it's like he's not bringing anything to the party for us. But suddenly he cares about like having a blast.
And it's like, where was this energy when Swerve really needed it?
We were begging him. We said, can you give him something to work with? He said, no,
I'll show up like a lump on a log. I know. Like, is it like he thought the world champion couldn't have a good time? Because the only time as world champ that he was at all compelling to me was when he was just like looking at Hangman and Swerve like, can you believe these guys? Like, are they going to kiss really right in front of me? And that was great. But yeah, now he's doing it full time. Okay, buddy.
I guess it's good. I guess good for him. I'm glad that he's happy with Hook and Shibata. I'm glad they like to talk, but
yeah. I mean, it's all working really well. He's playing off Jericho fantastically, and he's making Hook seem like fun for the first time. Like when the fact that he keeps making Hook like look like a little dork is making Hook so much better for me.
Yeah.
What was the word that Hook said when they busted to the dressing room? He said something insane. I wish I could remember what he said. It was just like an insane word. And then like Hook was like, did you just say, or Joe was like, did you just say blah blah? And Hook was like, I thought it was good. I wish I could remember what the fuck that word was.
It's fun for Hook to have moved into a stage where it's like he is working with someone where he has a little bit of a vibe of like, well, I do want you to see me as cool. And like trying at it makes it less cool, but it makes him more relatable.
It makes him more relatable. Yeah. It makes him a person.
Sometimes you're trying to look cool, but you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing we like better than a man kind of humiliating himself a little bit in front of us.
Yes.
That's mostly what we want. Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just slip on a damn banana peel. All of you wrestlers out there, you just slip on one banana peel. And next thing you know, we're on this podcast being like, he's the funniest guy in the world. He's so sweet.
That's when Julia Hart started getting us. Like she literally slipped on a banana peel in the backstage video. I think Julia Hart did.
Yeah,
that's when she was being really funny.
And then fell into a garbage can, and we were like, "Do I love Julia Hart?"
Yeah, never lost me since.
Now, did you like this this line I brought you from Manolo where he said Chris Jericho should bottle his rub for sale? Of course, he means that Chris Jericho is giving other wrestlers the rub. The
thing is, it's a very dangerous thing to say because what won't Jericho sell? Like if you said that to Jericho, he would be like, do you think that's a good idea? Should I get like a new champagne and call it the rub?
Jericho would say, so my next gimmick should be like full on, I'm already basically there, but you want me to go full on snake oil salesman? Yes, I'm in. Yes.
I wish you would sell another champagne for our anniversary episode.
I know it.
Now, an alternative, Jericho could do that. He could sell like his bath water or something. Would that be kind of
gross?
Kind of like an e-girl kind of deal. Is that something?
It would be. It actually would be so funny for him to go into a snake oil persona and then set up like a I keep wanting to say plain white tees, pro wrestling tees shop that just sells the world's worst things. And he's constantly in the ring, like hawking them, being like, my toenails, you want them.
Just when you said him setting up his own pro wrestling tees, I suddenly got all excited. Like, yeah, he should set up his own t-shirt. He should sell fake university t-shirts that like fit women well. I would buy all of them. Let's improve on the pro wrestling tees experience for ladies.
It would be.
I wish someone would.
It also would be comedy if he set up like a fake store as a joke and then accidentally really did like stumble upon like good stuff.
What are we saying here? We're like, what do women want? They want well-fitting, nicely designed, good quality wrestling tees and Chris Jericho's toenails and bathwater. What can
what women want? Yeah.
We're just reporting the facts. We're scientists.
Now, girls, do you think we should be charging a monthly fee for these kind of takes?
Maybe we should. Up to $20.
Maybe we are leaving something on the table.
Then we could take super chats during our recording, so you can pay $5 more, and then we'll answer your
ask
questions.
us more about these toenails. We're not beating the allegations, girls. After this, we're not beating the fucking allegations. Listen, none of us are beating off to this, okay? This is just purely funny fun, okay? So don't worry about it. And I really think we actually have to move on for our safety and the safety of our listeners. Does that sound okay?
Please.
Is there anything else that you need to say about these men?
Big Bill's doing great out there. It's the only thing I gotta say.
Amazing. Do you think
funny?
Do you think that Jake Hager cries when he watches Dynamite?
Jake Hager's like, I had the hat line. Everyone liked it so much.
I'm really worried.
It really must feel so bad to watch the love of your life stand on TV every week next to somebody shaped like you.
Yeah.
Like, clearly your replacement.
Yeah. It's so rough.
Okay.
Jake Hager's like getting a job as a security guard somewhere. Just like
he's a mall rent-a-cop being like, don't even fucking talk to me.
Wow. Okay, I would watch that movie.
Yeah.
Although I did also have another idea for a movie just now, and it is a remake of The First Wives Club, starring Jake Hager and Chris Jericho.
Yeah. Love it. I mean, Jake Hager,
and Hollywood loves remakes, so this feels like it would be pretty easy to get it greenlit.
It's like, okay, so it's First Wives Club, but it's pro wrestlers. One pro wrestler had another emotional support pro wrestler, and now he's replaced him with a same age model. I don't know if they're younger.
The more that you're describing it, and I'm just kind of subbing in like the actors from Interview with the Vampire, I'm kind of like, yeah, that would be a great movie. I mean, would love to watch it.
In a way, did that not kind of happen on Interview with the Vampire?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Wow. Well, Jake Hager, all of our traditional best to you and your family. And let's move on to talking about Mommy's Little Elite. So first up, we have the Young Bucks, who cut a backstage promo, basically just yelling at the Acclaimed for beating them last week and being like, you cheated using our cheating tools. That's not fair. And Matt said, I seem to have quoted quite a lot of this, but whatever. He said, we're still your AEW tag team champs. Okada's still the Continental champ. And after Forbidden Door, you're going to have a new TNT champ. His name is the scapegoat, Jack Perry. But we have even bigger plans. And in fact, here's some breaking news for you. Next week, the Elite have decided to insert our very own wild card into the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. He's going to run through the whole tournament, get a shot at the title, and bring the championship to the Elite where it belongs. And then we'll have all the power and all the gold, which I liked because that was a little like... kind of like a little leprechaun super later in the show, the Acclaimed came out to cut an in-ring promo, basically being like, we beat you, so let's get those tag team belts, which did send a little shudder of fear through me. And I'm happy to be seeing the Acclaimed be rehabbed, but I said they can't have any belts. I hope we all know that they can't have those belts. The Elite did interrupt and challenge them to a trios match at Forbidden Door, with Tanahashi stepping into Billy Gunn's place for the Acclaimed.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And Billy Gunn had to announce it too.
Billy Gunn had to announce it. And I will read the quote. Billy Gunn said, I know how to deal with EVPs. I'm kind of a big deal. I know I have people in high places. And I happen to know a president. And I am so stupid that I thought, Joe Biden?
Joe Biden being the third on this match, I do think it would shoot him to the top of the polls. I do think it's an opportunity he should be.
But it couldn't hurt.
No, I mean, that's how he's going to get eyes on the debate. Like, he's going to be like the AEW audience.
And that's called corporate synergy. It's like, you like this wrestling? Then watch my debate. But then on the debate, it's kind of like, oh, you like this debate? Watch me in wrestling. They feed each other. Just a beautiful symbiotic media ecosystem that we have here that works really well.
We're having a weird week.
I can't believe that the debate is happening
Currently,
now,
like
as we record.
speak.
as we speak. I hope nothing horrible happens.
That's all we can hope for, yeah.
I hope nobody busts in and punches anybody in the face during the debate. I hope nobody gets slobber knockered or what other
Pile
things could you
drivered all
do?
over
Pile
the-
drivered, yeah.
Steel chaired.
Steel chair.
That'd be terrible.
Hope nobody gets pinochled or sharpshootered or any of those moves.
Donald Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame, so you never know.
Yeah.
How did
He
you
certainly
say
is.
pinochle that time? the happiest day of my
Pinochle.
entire life.
Pinochle.
Pinochle. Pinochle.
The happiest day of my entire life.
Oh, Pinochle.
Oh,
I
we're doing
love
great.
being stupid, and I'm good at it.
I'm glad Billy Gunn isn't in this match. Like that
I
really
know.
did when
Yeah.
Tanahashi was announced, that really did save it.
Yeah,
And
I'm very psyched for that.
I love that he's the president and he
Yeah.
is coming out and wrestling.
And he's a member. That's a very old joke.
Oh my god. And he loves doing like sexy apron kitchen photo shoots.
That's the main thing I know about him. The sexy apron photo shoots. Yeah.
I'd love for everybody involved in this match to maybe get in on that.
Yeah. Get the Bucks in only an apron.
Yeah.
Please,
You know?
God. Please.
Tanahashi was the one that was like, people watch wrestling to see cute boys. Was that him?
They want to see a
So-
hot bod, so he gets it.
Can he get the Young Bucks to
Sit him
take
down.
that
Pull 'em
seriously again?
aside.
It's like he's literally a president. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like sit them down and just
And
be
they're
like,
only vice presidents, so they
only
have
vice-
to do what he says.
only vice
I think
president.
that's my understanding.
as Max Caster said this week, young cucks, last week we exposed you for the self-important EVPs that you are. I said you exposed them as vice presidents. They say it themselves every week, Max. They tell us every week. They don't need to be exposed.
I know you have a backstage job.
You're getting health insurance through this company.
Well, maybe that was actually a deep reference to CM Punk actually being an employee and having a backstage role that he wouldn't acknowledge.
He was exposed for it. Yeah.
Okay, we're putting the pieces together. Anyway, yeah, he's a president, which is above a vice president. I understand that. So he sits them down and he says, listen, boys, shirts off, aprons on, in the kitchen, photo shoot.
Let's see
It's
those
that simple.
titties.
Let's see those titties.
That's how you make the line go up.
Do you want this? Hey, boys,
Very
do you
simple.
want this line to go up or not?
Last week, the rating, I think we all can say it was because the Young Bucks were wearing vests.
That's
I agree.
right.
I agree.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's gotta be it. every week the rating is in peril because of those vests.
So true. It's ruining
because
everything.
of lack of nipple.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Because from the nipple comes the sustenance for the human body.
Okay, we're getting
Every
danger
point-
zones.
Each nipple we see gives us a 0.1 in the demo, 0.01 in the demo,
Just
you
one
know?
little
So,
ounce
like,
of milk, of mommy's milk.
Veto.
what were we saying earlier about not beating the allegations? Well,
The allegations are beating us at this point. I don't know why I'm in this mood. I guess it's because
it's
of
the
how late I was.
pasta at 12:30.
Probably that 12:30 a.m. pasta I made. Yeah. Okay, let's check in very, very quickly then on the ladder match situation, the TNT ladder match. I did get really confused about this, but Leah explained to me why. Do you want to explain what happened here, or is it even worth it?
So in the schedule, Allie was like, "Was there always 6 men in it? Wasn't there going to be 4 men in it?" And I get the matches from her from Cage Match, and for some reason, for the past couple of weeks, Cage Match has had like 4 sets of question marks, but I think that they were just guessing because I'm pretty sure Sarah was like, who is going to be in this ladder match? How many men? What is the eligibility that are getting them into it? And it was like, nobody knows. Not important.
I think I created like a whole fake memory in my brain where Christopher Daniels was in the ring being like, there shall be 4 men in this ladder match, 1 for each corner of the ring, like, and they shall be chosen via tournament. Somehow that was kind of in my brain where it's like, yeah, the vice principal told us there'll be 4 men, 1 for each corner of the ring, but it's not. It's 6 whole men.
I feel like there might have been like a graphic with the 4 of them who had been announced, because I had a vague memory like that too, but yeah, who knows?
This is the Mandela effect. No, it isn't. It's just stupid brains. Anyway, the men that we have for this thus far, we've got Mark Briscoe, Takeshita, Lio Rush, Jack Perry, Dante Martin, and one unknown man. It'll either be El Phantasmo or AR Fox, who we haven't seen in
AR Fox. Wow,
last year.
Yeah. Wow,
so that would be nice for him. I like that man.
Yeah, I know. He's very attractive.
Very attractive, nice man. Let's check in really quickly on this ladder match adjacent storyline, in which Dante won his qualifier match on Collision, and he cut a little backstage promo about how the last time he was in a ladder match, he broke his leg and head. Oh no, he broke his leg and had to relearn how to, quote, run, jump, and be inhuman. Which I really liked. I said, that's absolutely buck wild thing to say. I had become all too human and fallible. I had to relearn how to be an inhuman jump machine in the ring. Great stuff.
Remember how we saw his leg go backwards like 50 times on
they reshowed it television. A lot.
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
This promo was interrupted by Lio Rush, and we had a little back and forth where Lio Rush spoke directly to Darius, who had expressed some reservations about Lio because of that time that he was holding Dante captive for ransom or something. And Dante was like blinking, like, help me. Like, nothing happened. And Leo said, Darius, are we cool? Like, Dante, as you can see last week when he saved him, I'm a man of my word. I had your back. I always have. I don't know. I always will. But I'm in that ladder match too. Come Forbidden Door. I want the TNT championship for myself. Long pause from Dante, who then said, yeah, I want it too. Leo said, so I guess I'll see you there.
Do you know
slight energy up?
When I was chit-chatting with Trish and Sarah before their pod or after their pod this week, they roasted us because I said something about like we were very excited for the Lio Rush, like for some of that resolution to happen, and they were like, you are the only ones. I like every time you bring it up, I'm always like, what are they talking about? What storyline did Lio Rush have with Dante? And I'm like, this is honestly, so formative.
Stop. Honestly, it's really surprised me because like I vaguely remember the Dante stuff, but like I hadn't even like every time you're like, I'm so excited for Lio Rush, I'm like, her? Who?
We thought that
I don't remember any of this.
We thought Dante was having a breakout moment where it's like he was developing a character, and we thought that character was like kind of like freaked out, like Verge.
This is yours. What did Sarah Shockey always talk about? The J&J security that never came back?
Never came back. This is our J&J security. Yeah. But then do you remember, like, he was a scared virgin who was being, like, auctioned for crypto, but then he did like, start falling for it, and he turned on someone. Was it Hook?
I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, he had like he was like, I'm a bad guy now, and Darius tweeted it and was like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah,
and then Lio Rush quit, and Dante was like, oh, I'm just kidding. That was like I had like some bad chicken.
Oh, you're right. Well, anyway, look, let's come back to the present. The energy of this promo, I thought was like a little bit like they are not on good terms. They don't like each other, but actually they recently started fucking on the DL and they can't let anybody else know. Meeting in like corners to be like, dude, you just like, you have to sound just normal when we see each other.
I thought that the energy was like they had an incredibly insane high school romance, and then now it's like the reunion and they're like trying to be like, are you over that? Because if you want to go in the bathroom, we can. But if you're still mad, then maybe we don't have to.
Come Forbidden Door. I want the TNT championship for myself. Long pause. Yeah, I want that too.
Everybody keeps being like, there's no storylines at AEW. There's nothing to feel. There's nothing emotionally gripping. Meanwhile, Dante is doing the work of his life. Yeah, I want it too.
And then, but everyone's going to tell us again, like, guys, this has no basis in reality. And it's like, yeah, we just make up stories. We need stories to live. So when you do something that doesn't make sense, we are trying to make sense of it. We're trying to make it make sense.
Sometimes it's like we have seen like some shadow puppets on the wall and we're making a whole backstory about these shadows puppets. And our, people around us are like, you don't have to look at the shadow puppets. There's actually a movie playing on the television screen right to your left, and we're like, no, not interested.
I just suddenly thought about Dante hearing that his line delivery on "Yeah, I want it too" gave the impression that he and Leo were fucking on the DL, and just the look on his face if he heard that, because I'm sure he was trying to be like a tough boy who wants the belt, It was just like, well, I hope this clip gets sent to him. Any of Dante's friends listening, just clip that little part.
Don't. When I think about his little face,
I know he doesn't deserve that.
He doesn't need to. He never needs to know. He never needs to know. Can I ask you guys, who is the allegory of the cave? Which of the Greeks?
Plato.
It is Plato. That's good because as Leo was talking, I thought, just feeling so knowledgeable. I thought Plato's closet.
Beautiful.
Plato's closet.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. I can't wait to, as Darius said, see who the better man is.
And I love that Leo and Dante are in Plato's closet, so to speak. Maybe they'll come out of that closet sometime.
They'll have some great used clothes on because they care about saving the planet. Okay, let's move on to another great sexy storyline. This one actually everybody agrees. This one everyone is in on. Okay, on Collision this past week, Toni and Mariah had a tag team match against Layla Hirsch and Lady Frost. And to quote Manolo, Storm protected her protege during the match. Timeless actually laid on top of Mariah to shield her. There was simply no need to call her timeless.
I love when Manolo pretends that that's their first name. There's someone else he does that too, where I'm like, I need you to know that that's not a first name, but I forget who it is right now.
I don't know.
It also kind of reminds me of when wrestling fans call Bryan Danielson Dragon, just like in little chats and stuff. And it's like, I know that's like his epithet, but like, sounds weird. Don't just be like, oh yeah, Dragon's great at those moves. Like, okay.
Okay, your close personal friend Dragon. Okay.
Oh yeah. The Bleacher Report guy called Brian Cage, like he wasn't reporting that Brian Cage called himself this. He just unexpectedly in a paragraph was like, the Vanilla Gorilla did this, and it was like, don't,
inappropriate.
That's not what we're doing.
Gross. And we're the gross ones. We're disgusting.
Has anyone called us disgusting? I think we just say it to
Probably
ourselves.
Not just ourselves, yeah.
We should believe in ourselves a little more, ladies.
No one has called us disgusting. That could be a little personal
We're not disgusting.
affirmation.
We're just a little gross.
Somewhere James is like, I've called you disgusting.
James is like every week, yeah.
James, please.
Thank you for speaking truth to us on Tower.
Somebody's got to. All right. On Dynamite, Mina, Mariah, and Toni had their trios match versus Saraya, Harley Cameron, and Anna Jay. I once again have only quoted Manolo here. I was really sleepy by the time I was writing this part. Does anyone else want to describe it? You're welcome to. It's open. No?
I mean, they did a great job during the match because they really told the story of the thing. Like that there was jealousy over tag-ins. There was like complicated faces. There was complicated dynamics.
There was a really good moment where Mina came over and she acted like she was going to tag in Toni, and then she theatrically tagged in Mariah, and Toni made like the most bitter face. Like it was really good.
Toni for a Can They Get Along match, like they just did like top level like storytelling within the match. Like I thought Ospreay and Swerve were really outmatched by them in comparison, which I mean they did fine, but
they did fine. But I'll tell you, this is another point where like interacting with the IWC definitely ruins my life, because it's like everybody was like, Can They Get Along matches are the worst thing that's ever happened. And I'm like, I have fun with them most of the time.
I like them. This one was like them. Actually, I mean, this storyline is buzzing along so well now because it's been set up really slowly for a long time. I think, I mean, it's doing a lot of things right, but like, it is easier to have an effective match like this if you have been actually slow burning something the way that they have. So you have like, you've seen there were times when we were like, I don't know exactly what's happening with this because we haven't seen much development for a while, but we're at a point where it's like, okay, I still don't know exactly where their heads are at, but I've seen a lot of stuff happen, and I can construct a fairly coherent storyline about what might be going on. Yeah. And I really liked Toni in this match. Like, she's so self-assured in her role as Timeless, but Mina and Mariah have thrown her off her game so much. And there were these moments where she was on the apron kind of like trying to like be in on the joke of what was happening in the ring, but she wasn't allowed to be in there, where like you were just like, oh my gosh, this is kind of like sad, or like you just look kind of awkward in a way that is so compelling in the storyline because you're always in control, and suddenly you're like, I'm not in control, but I'm seeking your affection.
Yeah, and there are so many physical things they did like that communicated it so clearly. Like even the entrances, like Mariah ran back to also enter with Mina, and they did such a good dance routine. It was like the funnest, most cool thing. But then like at the end of the match, like Toni's trying to like dance with Mariah, and her energy was just very like, I am also a part of this. I am also important here to you, and actually I'm much more important to you, and I hate all of it. Yeah,
and I think Toni's gimmick adds to it so much because it's very much like video killed the radio star type like situation.
Yeah.
And so after the match, they did win the match, and then afterwards, they're all, like in the ring celebrating. Mariah goes to the apron to get from Luther the 2 glasses of champagne that she and Mina traditionally love to drink.
Had 2, I got instantly like, she can't. Yeah, but then she gave it to both of them and didn't have one herself.
Yes, which I thought very clever, Mariah. You are working overtime to try and keep these women happy. And then as you said, Toni was dancing with her, and Mina got upset, and she tried to smash the champagne bottle over Toni's head, but Toni ducked, and she got Mariah instead. And great acting and face acting all around. Toni actually doing great, like insane with she's gotten to a point. It's very funny to have watched her get to this point where I'm like, oh, Toni, you are in love with Mariah, and you didn't mean to be. And that's so confusing, and it's unfortunate. I think your heart is going to get broken, but maybe it'll get mended someday.
Maybe so.
So sexy.
It is really, really good.
It's so interesting to watch a thing where it's like, oh, Mariah was kind of beneath her and she just liked the worship, and then suddenly be like jealous of her and trying to get, just like the progression of that until it's like actually now she feels like desperate for Mariah's attention, which is phenomenal.
So humiliating to fall in love with your minion.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
it's really humiliating.
Very fun to watch happen.
This to me too is like such an example of like sometimes people act like storytelling in wrestling and great matches are like two separate things or like in opposition to each other. Whereas this was like the story has been building this whole time and then it played out in the match really effectively and it was a good match. And it's like, yeah, that's what wrestling needs to build to like a match crescendo where the story takes place. And that's like when we're really cooking.
Story can happen in the match, but only if you are doing the work everywhere else as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
In every part of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of like musical theater and how the songs shouldn't be incidental to the plot, but like a really good song can stand on its own, but it's made so much stronger by the musical that it's in and knowing the story. I think that is true. Oh my goodness. Anything else that you want to discuss about the storyline or where it's headed?
Just the best built storyline for Forbidden Door, really. And I think you put something in here where it's like, like Manolo said that Mariah doesn't have the credibility yet to win the tournament. And it's like, or to win the belt, I guess. And it's like, it actually never occurred to me that Mariah could win the world champion belts, which is interesting.
I kind of thought
although
she
it's possible.
Could. Oh, the thing, I don't think that wrestling likes this. I guess I love to always think like, well, when someone has emotionally destabilized you, they have a better chance of winning a match against you. They can win you because they can win over you because they know you and they're doing psychological warfare on you. I don't always feel like I'm supported in that interpretation in the world of wrestling.
I mean, I think that's right though, because like when you look at like Trent and OC when they're fighting each other, then it's like they know each other so well they can counter all each other's moves and whatever. So there is some of that.
And I would say that's a large part of the Hangman Swerve thing is that Swerve successfully destabilized Hangman enough that Hangman couldn't get it together.
That's really true. Yeah.
I don't think it would be crazy, but I like the storyline because I don't really know exactly what beats they're going to do and when. I just know that all of the, like they've done all the groundwork so that anything they do, I can be like, oh, that makes sense because of X, Y, and Z things that happened, which is what I enjoy. I don't actually need to know how they're going to have things play out. I just like when they happen to be able to say like, yeah, it's totally coherent. That adds up. And the million things can be coherent based on a good groundwork.
And I actually don't really know what ending the story is striving towards. Like, I want Mina to stay forever. Though,
I know.
Really badly.
There was just a tiny bit of speculation, and I have no idea how plausible it is that, like, she could stay. And I was like, Toni, if you don't pay that woman as many dollars as she wants to stay, I will kill you. I want her so bad. What if she wins the belt on Sunday and then Mariah wins the tournament and has to fight her? Hello.
It would be sexy, but what would Toni be doing during that? You know what I mean? Like
she'd be like sad girl mode. Would she go back to like her sweats and no makeup and say,
I don't know.
I'd like it.
I don't know if she could at this point.
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe she'd think about.
If video killed the radio star, like she has to progress forward. She has in time, yeah.
Kind of like a Carmen Sandiego type character now. Where in time is timeless Toni Storm?
She could become like an 80s star. She could go full Madonna. Like,
I got Blondie.
If she stepped out of the tunnels with like the cone bra.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Okay. We got to move on. We can't. Yeah. I hope you do it. Hey, Toni, I'd love to see you in any conical bras you see fit. Please.
Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort, meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today.
Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort, meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today.
Very, very quick check-in on Jon Moxley. Hiromu Takahashi, Shingo Takagi, and Titan fought Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, and Wheeler Yuta on Dynamite and won. And then afterwards, they won. Claudio's not having a good week.
Mm-mm.
It's really hard for him that now he's not good.
I'd love for him to
Allie,
kind of fall out of his.
Would you say maybe that he's washed?
It's really tough that Claudio Castagnoli is washed. What happened to me?
Washed?
It's pretty hard for him that he's not good.
Are you throwing him in the trash, Allie?
I think I was just thinking about how much I'm enjoying him looking like confused about losing. So I was trying to kind of comment positively on the fact that I think he's having emotional reactions to not being good anymore. Afterwards, Naito came out from New Japan. That's who Jon Moxley won the title off of him. And they're going to fight at Forbidden Door. And people are thinking that Naito will be getting that title back off of Mr. Mox.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to say about Naito coming out is I've never seen more clothes on a man. And I've never seen more of those clothes come off on the ramp. And I fucking loved it. I was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like only Darby has worn layers in that way. I mean, a different style of layers, but you know, sometimes style, you are like, how many shirts does he have on? Yeah.
It was like he was walking the runway and he was like, I'm going to do the entirety of I'm Too Sexy, Right Said Fred, and I can't take the last piece of clothing off until the end of the song. And it is a long one. So I've got to go slow.
We should have more strip wrestling, you know? Young Bucks.
I do know.
I agree, Young Bucks.
So I really liked that. And I have pretty much no feelings about this match at all, except that I know that my good friend whom I love, Trish and Sarah, one of my sisters, loves Naito. That's her special guy.
Yeah.
And so I say, go Naito, go.
Yeah, we're rooting for them.
Exactly.
Trish,
go.
Trish is flying this weekend to hang out with Sarah and go to the show together. So
oh my God, they're gonna have so much fun.
Rooting for Naito.
We love Naito.
We love him.
We always have, and we always will. Tunnel talk for Naito.
We are Naito girls.
And that belt has to get off Mox. He's got to come back and do
He's got to come home.
I know he's having fun, going to Japan, throwing his phone into bonfires. Of course, he's having his room spring up, but it's time to come home.
You got to come home.
And it's time to do some emotional storytelling here at home.
Yeah.
We have food at home.
Snap out of that grump and tell me a story.
Come home and cook it.
Fox, put some stories on the grill. All right.
The fridge is full of store of ingredients. You just got to make a story.
We are not going out to dinner tonight. We are going home. We are getting the ingredients out of the fridge and the freezer. And
Mox,
we're grilling.
I want to see you with your forehead pressed against the forehead of another man. You've got so many men you can do that with.
A man I know intimately from watching him every single week on TV. That's the kind of man I want to see you pressing your forehead against on the grill.
None of these strange men.
No.
I want to see the back scratchy. I want to see.
Yes. Kissing in a back scratch.
I want to see a back scratchy. Yeah.
I want to see you bleeding all over a man I know in my show.
Yeah. And I want to say things like fluid bonding in a little bit of a tone that people don't like.
But you guys, I thought Dax was going to be hurt for a while longer.
If Fox came back and immediately started a sexual and erotic storyline with Dax, that would serve us right, probably.
That would be a taunt. That would not be appropriate. He certainly won't do that. What do you think? I can't get into it anymore. Well, anyway, I hope he comes back. I hope he kisses another man on TV, and I hope that Claudio gets some therapeutic help dealing with the fact that he's not good anymore. That is so rough
that
for
he
him.
is washed
because he's washed. And also, go Naito, go.
Yeah.
Next topic. On Dynamite this week, we had a little backstage promo it was not Zack Sabre Jr. Nobody corrected me on that. With Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Kyle O'Reilly. OC has named this group the Conglomeration, and Mark Briscoe did another one of his deranged promos. Kyle also tried a little Mark Briscoe deranged promo, which I really enjoyed, and I especially enjoyed in the middle where he did what?
Stopped and said, "Is this working?" In a nervous way.
I've almost never related to a wrestler more.
Kind of in the middle of this podcast, often we're a little bit like,
okay.
If we pause to like someone has to pee or whatever, very often we're like, is this good? Is anyone?
You guys think this is all right?
Did I sound normal when I said that?
Cut any of that.
We have to reassure each other, like, yeah, it's really good. It's going really well.
But nobody likes it when I call it aftercare.
No. Well, usually it's in the middle, so it's not after anything. Okay. All right. Kyle fought Zack Sabre Jr. with Orange Cassidy on commentary. Roddy was ringside, I believe. After Kyle lost
with you identified a man who was with Roddy.
Oh my God, guys, this was actually it was huge for me, but I still a little concerned about it. They cut to Roddy and he's standing there and there's a man next to him that we don't know. And I thought, Gabe Kidd. And then I thought, what the fuck? Well, is that Gabe Kidd? Like, do you know that man? And then a minute later, commentary was like, and here we have Gabe Kidd standing with Roddy. It was like there was like a little like a demon in my brain that just knew that.
I was so impressed with you because when I saw that man ringside, my thought was, did one of the kingdom shave their heads? It doesn't really look like them. But I guess all white men kind of look alike.
Well, do you want me to lend you my little brain demon?
I'd love it, yeah. Start identifying men that I shouldn't know.
It was pretty shocking.
I want to say on commentary, OC was behaving as if he really wanted to see. He sounded like us when we think we've gone too far talking about Matt Jackson or whatever, and just like being like, we got to move on. Like he just kept being like, and when Zack Sabre Jr. Never mind. And he would be like, oh, look at that hold. Okay. Well, let's move on.
Honestly, like he's having a very sexy little time with Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah.
Like for the first time I've really seen on screen. So,
I was thinking about it because of course he has none of his friends around him anymore. And
he's
I just
destabilized.
I had a weird little how do I explain this? Just in my brain, suddenly I was like, oh, it's like if you're watching a CW TV show like Gossip Girl and something crazy happens in the last ep and it's like Blair and Chuck like break up and they're like, this is for the last time. And you leave Chuck like brokenhearted, like crying on the ground. And then you go away for the summer because I don't know if you guys remember this, but we used to it's like the show would end in May or whatever. And then it would just come back in September and it fucking rocked for 22 to 26 beautiful episodes of pointless television that you got throughout the entire year. It was fucking elite choice. So fucking cool.
Came out week to week. You could talk to your friends about it between the episodes.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I mean, it was the best of times and the best of times. Anyway, so you'd come back and the last thing you saw, you're like, and Chuck was a mess. He was sobbing on the floor. So he's probably doing really bad. And then the next thing you know, he is sucking and fucking his way around Manhattan. It's the season premiere. He's necking with Strange. Hooking up like crazy. And someone's like, oh, Chuck, how was your summer? Like, did you do really bad? And he's like, no, I love to fuck now because I don't even care that my heart got broken. And do you think that's a little bit like maybe what could be going on with OC?
He has no friends, so he and Zack Sabre Jr. are in Plato's closet, if you know what I mean.
It's getting pretty busy in Plato's closet. And I was gonna try and throw a couple other guys in there too, if you'll let me. But
I mean, yeah. I'd love it if OC was spending his little heartbroken summer sucking and fucking his way around the AEW locker room.
That's one idea, just one interpretation of events. But I will say that there are a few men that he has a more interesting vibe with than Zack Sabre Jr., especially when they get kind of nose to nose. They can't really because of Zack Sabre Jr. being taller. Mm-hmm. And he loves to grab him.
Yeah, he does. He likes to talk about, likes to call him darling, likes to look down at his mouth, honestly.
Yeah, he looks down. Well, it's right there.
It's right there.
To look at it?
Yeah, when you want to kiss someone on the mouth, where are you supposed to look?
A plus B equals C. Oh my God. Okay. So Zack Sabre Jr. did win this match, and OC came out to check on Kyle, but then Roddy also came out to check on Kyle, I guess, I don't really know what's going on with Roddy and Kyle. That's also a little psychosexual, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, when Roddy's out there in commentary being like, I'm the only one who brings out the real Kyle or whatever stuff he was saying.
Like, well, I guess put him in Plato's closet. Oh my God. And then we had all these men were out there. OC's Zack Sabre Jr., they're considering kissing, but then Zack Sabre Jr. also has some friends, only one of whose names I know. I know Robbie Eagles, but there's another man with him. And then OC has no friends. Wait, no, he does. Ishii's here. And I say, I don't know why, but I'm not mad about it.
I got so excited to see Ishii. I was genuinely like, I for some reason, the third Forbidden Door was when I was like, oh, like these are the exchange students that come every year, and this is when I see them, and I was excited to see Tanahashi and like Suzuki, and I was like, and then when I saw Ishii, for some reason, I was just like, all of them are here. They're all here.
I think that's beautiful, and I think it's the reaction they want us to have.
Yeah.
So it's like it was exciting. It was kind of like, wow, all these guys out here, and why? I have no fucking clue.
It really is like it's our third summer at camp, and now when the boys from the camp across the way come for the dance at the end of the summer, it's pretty exciting.
We recognize some of them. You have to give us that.
And we can say things like, "Oh my God, he got his braces off. He's looking so cute now."
He really grew since last summer.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what else do we have going on here that I have written here? Well, Leah, you wanted to talk about how you think this has been a really healthy time for Kyle. But she's frozen, so she...
No, I'm not. I was trying to frantically read. I said it was a healthy time for Kyle.
No, you said that Kyle seems like he's doing so much better now that he has a friend.
It'd be very funny to fake a freeze to try to get out of answering something like...
You can't see me. No, it's always like, I said
that. You can't call on me. Won't get fooled again.
I'm just like, I said that he was really healthy right now from all the cannibal meat. No.
You actually said that prion disease is actually good for you. New studies have shown that it's actually good to have prion disease, and that it's causing Kyle to thrive. It's probably what healed his arm.
It explains so much about Kyle.
But no, what I actually meant to say was that, like, he was doing fine in his weird little singles run, but he's really thriving with like in the conglomeration. It's like, oh, that's because he's a tag team guy. We forgot because Bobby Fish abandoned him.
R.I.P.
Oh, yeah. R.I.P. Bobby Fish.
He loved having a friend.
He loved it. And so
Kyle
like,
ate his twin in the womb. Bobby Fish in the womb was the terror.
But like now,
but he was a twin. Yeah. He needs some guys standing next to him.
And you just see him so much happier being like, look, I'm with guys. Look at me with my guys.
And he wants kind of a crazy guy that looks a little crazy. He wants like a Mark Briscoe to follow around like a little duckling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And these are the other men that I was going to toss into Plato's closet because I said like they got a little bit of it's like not that they have a sexual vibe really, but it's a little bit like, oh, if I saw those guys, like if they were like, they're just so weird together. They're so weird together that it's like, I don't know if they wanted to try kissing. They could.
I would believe that Kyle would be in a place where he'd be like, I'd kiss Mark Briscoe in a second, but I don't know that that Mark Briscoe is like knows I'm in the room really. Like Mark Briscoe is kind of like outer space.
But I think Mark Briscoe could turn around one day and be like, we're married. You didn't realize that? We've been married this whole time. Well, just pop him in Plato's closet for a bit. And anything else that you want to say before we move on to our final topic?
Why are you named Orange? You'd have to ask my mom.
It's his given Christian name.
He's so funny.
He's so funny.
He was doing great.
You could tell, I mean, he's so good at it, but in the backstage promo with Mark and Kyle, you could tell that he's like, and I work really hard not to laugh at this. I really have to put in some work.
It's amazing that he's such a giggle boy in shoot content. And he really has to, he does great keeping that straight face though.
He's so skilled and talented.
Do you think the inside of his mouth is like scarred from like biting his cheek?
Probably.
I did think that you were going to ask if it was blue. Because I know that's when I think about wrestlers' mouths, all I want to know is the color in there these days. But yeah, maybe he has a little on the inside, but it doesn't show that he's doing any biting or anything, which is honestly astonishing given that 2024 is the year of the tongue in the cheek at AEW, and every man is shoving his tongue around in his mouth just a little too much for comfort. And I'm often thinking like, to improve your
not metaphorical,
I'm often thinking like, to improve your airflow, like you actually need to learn how to suction your tongue to the roof of your mouth. So why don't you try that? Why don't you practice that?
Improve your airflow. Wow.
I learned about it from someone called the Airflow Champion on TikTok. And now I really pay a lot of attention to where my tongue is in my mouth.
Wow. That
it's
sounds very
supposed
sensual.
To be suctioned. Supposed to be suctioned to the roof of your mouth. So just
like all the time?
When you're not using it.
This is right. We should be taking advice from TikTok.
Yeah, I know. Who is this person? Is this an anti-vaxxer or something?
It's not an anti-vaxxer. And I was Googling about it because it has to do with stuff like, you're snoring and stuff. And I'm always trying not to snore as much. So I'm learning things about, suction your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And that's where it wants to live. It wants to be there. And like, we're not letting it be there enough.
We're not letting it be there. It wants to
I think it's kind of right, though, because I thought it felt weird at first, but now I do find that often that's where it is. Like, it was like, thank you. You finally took me home.
This has been tongue talk.
Is this going well?
I don't know. This is one of our more immediately off the rails episodes, I think. But I think that's good.
Oh, that's for tomorrow's tunnel talk to find out, I suppose. Should we move on to the final topic of the night?
Yeah.
Please.
Okay. MJF and Danny Garcia opened the show, Dynamite, the show, with an in-ring promo. So they were in Buffalo, which is Danny's hometown. So he got a nice hometown pop. He was very sweet, shouting out his family in the front row.
MJF and Danny got into it a little bit about, I don't know, their relationship, their perceptions of each other. It was kind of like, this is unfair to say in wrestling because it's like people interact all of a sudden out of nowhere for no reason, and they have interacted before. But there was quite a period at the beginning of the show where I just kept being like, why are they here? What is happening here? And they had interacted. They did the whole thing with Hechicera. So sorry, Emmy. I don't know how I just said that, but I don't know. What did you guys think about the exchange?
I don't know. I was like, there was points in it that I was like, I think that this is good. And then there was points that I was like, this is like too, like you two have like planned out the beats too obviously, but like, I don't know. Like the only way Danny's going to get better is by letting him do it. So I kind of wasn't really mad about it.
Yeah. But he was fine. He was honestly.
Fine. Yeah. It was just like, I feel like MJF unfortunately is on very thin ice with me at all times after last year. And this promo, it just went over the top for me, like too much, where it was, I don't know. He just does like his sort of artificial cadence and feels like he's trying too hard. Like just when he was talking, it felt very like, oh, like stop it. I hate this. So I don't know.
I think there was a little bit of like, I don't know, it felt a little mismatched because it's like Danny Garcia is learning to and needs to learn to do naturalistic promos. Mm-hmm. And MJF doesn't do naturalistic promos. And that is his artistic choice. Like it's kind of at the end of the day, it's like, it's fine. People make the art that they feel driven to make. And he doesn't want to do naturalistic promos. But it was there was some kind of weird dissonance for me where I was like, what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. It's fine. MJF did, like, they both praised each other. And MJF ended up offering Danny a match at Wembley, which was pretty startling. But the interaction was almost immediately interrupted by Will Ospreay, who bounded out of his tunnel. I don't know if I've said it on this podcast, but every time I see that man, it's Tigger. It's just Tigger.
Yeah. It's so perfect because you can just hear him being like, the wonderful thing about Will Ospreay is Will Ospreay is a wonderful thing.
So very, very good. Just to think of him as Tigger. He hadn't done anything good at this point. He just bounced like Tigger. That's it. And he came out to the ring, and I wish I could remember all of what he said, but he ended up challenging. Oh, he said, first of all, I am not good at sex. So jot that down. I come really quick and it might not be satisfying, which I loved.
Looked right at the camera and says, sorry, honey, I'm working on it. Something to that effect.
I'm really practicing edging myself so I can last longer. And then he challenged Danny to a match for Ospreay's international belt and for the world title. Presuming, yes, of course I will be winning it at Forbidden Door. Mm-hmm. And MJF was in the corner of the ring looking fucking put out, not looking happy, which actually I thought this all worked really well.
This was much more naturalistic too. His whole sulk felt very in a different vibe.
Don't you sort of feel like, and this is where I was struggling, that they needed the first to get to the second? Because it was like, I feel like what had to happen was that MJF had to have that air of like benevolent, like high school senior, like saying to the freshman, like, hey, you're like, it's going to be okay. You're going to go far, kid. Yeah, you're going to go far, kid. Absolutely. You needed that, like, oh yeah, like I'm the best and I'm glad you're recognizing that I'm the best and I'm going to reward you because you're showing me the deference that I deserve. And it wasn't like, I think that they had to do that for it to be as effective, for MJF to have that persona and then literally get pushed into the back corner and for everyone to forget he was there, because actually Will Ospreay immediately had Danny's attention, and his promo was very naturalistic and very fun, and you could feel the entire crowd being much more into it because of the chemistry. And if this was a movie, if this was a TV show, you'd be like, if this was an Interview with a Vampire, you would be like, oh, this is on purpose. This is what you're supposed to take away out of it.
I understand the character. He's got the riz.
Yeah.
Yes.
But of course, with wrestling, it is half the time you're like, am I doing a Dante and Leo thing, or am I supposed to think that like you needed the first half to be like forced in order to understand how like the second half was supposed to reflect off of it?
Yeah, I think that you've made a very compelling case, and I don't know. Yeah, I think that I do find that compelling. I guess then maybe I have this question of like, okay, well then who is Danny? Who is Danny Garcia in the middle of all this? Like, why was he responding to MJF like the way that he did? And
I mean,
what does he want? Because there was funny about like MJF being like, hey, you didn't win the world title off me because you weren't good enough, but you know what? I'll give you another chance. You can fight me at Wembley. And I had this moment where I was like, well, baby, you don't have a title anymore. And it's like, yeah, of course, men do and should fight each other all the time, like for the honor of beating each other.
Yeah.
But it was a little weird to just be like, oh, I guess I don't see beating MJF as a big deal on its own, which is not necessarily meaningful for me because I'm an idiot, but
like that to me seems like it could be the kernel of a very fun and fascinating feud between MJF and Ospreay, where it's like I'm almost, I mean, fool me, like make a fool out of me, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to want them to kiss. But like the idea that like that MJF is like, I was the king of the world. I had everything. Everybody respected me. Everybody wanted to beat me. I was everything. And then while I had my back turned, you showed up and now you have my place in the company and I'm trying to get it back. But in the process, all of the cracks in MJF are showing. But again, like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, that's how I would write it if it was like an actual beautiful piece of fiction.
If it was an Anne Rice often property, of course.
And often wrestling is not doing that.
No. But it does seem like they're heading that direct. Like that is definitely like what they were communicating. And it is like MJF was like king of the world at the end of junior year, and then he went to Europe for 3 months, and then when he came back, there's a new kid, and actually he's been there the whole summer, and everybody likes him more, and Dave Meltzer wants him to be the champ, and you know, it's rough.
To say that Dave Meltzer wants him to be a champ, to be the champ is the understatement of the year. I mean,
I'm just like, Dave Meltzer never cried because I wasn't becoming the champ fast enough.
Please put the belt on it.
Also, when MJF was sulking in the corner, I thought it was so funny because he was wearing lifts on his shoes that were like 3 or 4 inches tall, and he had his foot like kicked up on the rope, like in a very like when the girl kisses the boy and her foot goes up, like that was kind of the energy. And his like thighs are so big that he has kind of like a lot of curves. So it was just like, I got a big kick out of it. I was like, I love this little feminine energy over here. Yeah.
Well, so Ospreay made this challenge and then he left, and Danny kind of turned to MJF and was like about the Wembley thing. And MJF did a little, I thought this was quite effective. Little like, as you said, high school saving face move of just like, oh, you know, you've got this big match coming up. I think you should you go ahead and focus on that. Like, don't worry about anything else. And Danny gave him this look that was just kind of like, I don't know what to do with you. You're just always acting some kind of way. And he left. And then we ended the show with our Swerve Ospreay Get Along shirt match, where they were fighting the men whose names I can't remember, and they're the ones
the Gates of Agony.
The Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Toy Leona. And so they were fighting them. And they had some moments of synchronicity. They seemed to be working well together sometimes. They had some moments of miscommunication. Ospreay didn't get a pin that Swerve wanted him to get. You know, there's some stuff like that. They ended up winning. They seemed okay with each other. Ospreay pulled the move again
where he snatched Swerve's belt. And Swerve last time was merciful and was like, if you were anyone else, I would fuck you up for this. This time he was not. And he house called him, I believe. Which I kind of thought like he kind of earned, in my opinion.
It's like, I warned you.
Yeah.
I warned you this would happen.
He's on a one strike system. It's okay.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think about the get along match?
I like get along matches. I enjoyed it. I had like a very nice time.
I think it's fun.
It definitely wasn't as good as the girls, but like they did a fine job. And I really like when Swerve is just like brutal. So like at the very end when he kicked the shit out of Ospreay, I was sort of like, oh God, you're so hot.
Yeah. I mean, this was
I'm only a woman.
I am glad we're back to this version of Swerve because I need some sexy stuff in my storytelling.
And it's fun. I think it's fun for it to be sexy, but for me to be saying things like, yeah, but Ospreay did have it coming. Like, I think it's good. To be kind of a one strike, like violent guy is kind of cool and fun. Like, it's not like you're attacking them out of nowhere. Right. You're not breaking in and threatening any babies. You're just saying, maybe fuck me once, shame on you. Fuck me twice, no, you won't.
Classic saying.
So true. Balloons.
Yeah, and Ospreay's like golden retriever energy of course he did it again. You know, just
he said
not
it's
even
such
any
a fun
malice
joke last time.
Yeah,
certainly. And then he's like, "Why did you smack my nose with a newspaper? How did this happen to me?" I liked it. I'm excited to see the match. I have read, plenty of interesting theories about what is going to happen in that match. And I can't wait to find out. I don't have any theories. I can't wait to find out. I don't think that Ospreay will be winning the belt. And I like that he was putting it on the line before winning it. I think it's a very good character note.
Yeah. I think they're doing a good job of making it clear that
and Swerve
Ospreay
called that out too. Swerve called that out. And he had a good... I liked the way that he presented it.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job of portraying Ospreay as like cocky, not a serious person, not ready, not grown up enough for the belt yet. And I think that's a good storyline for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the last thing I'd say is that if they wanted to go to Plato's closet, the bouncer would be happy to let them in. And Bill Hader cadence, New York's hottest club is Plato's Closet.
It's got everything. It's got Leo Rush. It's got Dante Martin. It's got Orange Cassidy. It's got Zack
20
Sabre
men
Jr.
shoved into a too small space asking, why did you put me here? That's not what I was trying to convey with my facial expression and words.
We saw your shadows on the wall of Plato's closet, and that's why you're in here.
You're not supposed to be watching shadows. You're supposed to be watching the televised program that we put on for you every week. And we said the shadows were so sexy. We had no choice but to send you to Plato's closet.
Good work, everybody.
Yeah, I think that's no notes. Was there anything you really wanted to talk about that we did not get to?
No.
Were there any items of podcast business that we had to discuss that I didn't get to?
Listen to Diary.
Yeah. Go check out Diary. That's what's playing in Plato's closet.
Sexy little tunes for all the men crammed in there.
I think Chris would love that.
Yeah.
I said we've been in here for weeks. They've been playing the same single over and over and over again.
And we're like, kiss again, kiss again. For weeks. Same single.
Wow. Well, now I've gone fully into now I'm in the SNL zone, so I've gone fully into the Hammond Bublé zone.
You are on the thinnest of ice.
You are on the thinnest of ice. Oh, he said, do you like money? They said, do you like kissing? They showed me to a closet. I had no choice but to go inside. Okay. I really have been Allie.
I've been Ann.
And I've been Leah.
This is Tunnel Talk. Our theme is by Chris Corkin, Diary. You can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at Tunnel Talk Pod, via email at tunneltalkpod@gmail.com. You can also find us on the Social Suplex Network feed, where you can check out some of the other great podcasts on the network, and on the Social Suplex Network Discord. Please rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Please, God, stay frosty. And as always, please come back next week.
That's not just the sound of that first sip of Morning Joe. It's the sound of someone shopping for a car on Carvana from the comfort of home.
That's a good blend.
It's time to take it easy, like answering some easy questions to get pre-qualified for a car in minutes.
Talk about starting the morning right.
Just like customizing your terms so your car fits your budget. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to experience car shopping the way it should be. Convenient, comfortable. That's not just the sound of that first sip of Morning Joe. It's the sound of someone shopping for a car on Carvana from the comfort of home.
That's a good blend.
It's time to take it easy, like answering some easy questions to get pre-qualified for a car in minutes.
Talk about starting the morning right.
Just like customizing your terms so your car fits your budget. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to experience car shopping the way it should be. Convenient, comfortable.